Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will dive deep into the burning question that's got fans buzzing. Could Spencer Casadini actually be alive and kicking in the romantic streets of Paris? As we unpack the latest twists from the August 19th episode, it's impossible to ignore the suspicious vibes radiating from Britt Westburn. She's been jetting off to the City of Lights, but her recent encounter with Jason Morgan at the airport has her slamming the door on any future trips. Britt's demeanor was nothing short of electric tense, evasive, and downright defensive. When Jason casually mentioned spotting her there, she snapped back with a firm declaration that Port Charles was off limits for her forever, and now Paris was ruined too, thanks to him. This outburst left Jason scratching his head, and honestly, who could blame him? It felt like there was a hidden layer to her story, something far juicier than just sipping espresso at a quaint cafe, or snapping selfies by the Eiffel Tower. Let's rewind and dissect that pivotal conversation between Britt and Jason, because every word she uttered screamed secret agenda. Britt confessed, "I liked it there, but I can't run the risk of someone else recognizing me. Sakast lavai." Her tone was laced with regret, almost like she was mourning the loss of a cherished escape. Jason, ever the sharp observer, pressed her on it. "Wait, why are you worried about somebody recognizing you in Paris? Why there?" Instead of a straight answer, Britt dodged his gaze, her eyes flickering away as if guarding a vault of forbidden truths. This wasn't just casual chit-chat, it was a masterclass in deflection. Imagine the possibilities. Perhaps Britt's Paris jaunts weren't about luxury shopping sprees, or indulging in croissants and fine wine. What if they concealed clandestine meetings, whispered updates, or even heartfelt reunions? Her caginess suggests a bombshell reveal is brewing, one that could shake the foundations of Port Charles, and rewrite the fates of several key characters. Building on this intrigue, what if Britt's secrecy ties directly to Spencer Casadini's presumed demise? Fans will recall that heart-wrenching moment when Spencer plunged into the murky depths of the Seine, vanishing without a trace and leaving everyone to mourn his loss. But in the world of soap operas, death is rarely the end, it's often just a dramatic pause. Picture this, a shadowy rescue operation, orchestrated in the dead of night, pulling Spencer from the river's grasp. He could be tucked away in a high-tech medical facility on the outskirts of Paris, recovering from injuries that left him in a deep coma. Or, adding a fresh layer of mystery, maybe he's fully awake but amnesiac, piecing together fragments of his identity amid the city's historic charm, inventing a new element here. Perhaps Spencer has been undergoing experimental treatments funded by anonymous benefactors, treatments that mirror the very resurrection project that's now dominating General Hospital's storyline. This would explain Britt's frequent visits. As a doctor with her own history of survival against the odds, she might be overseeing his care, ensuring his vital signs stabilize while keeping the world in the dark. Delving deeper into the potential connections, Britt and Spencer's bond has always been a standout in the show's tapestry. Remember their shared moments of vulnerability, where Britt offered guidance like an older sister, helping Spencer navigate the chaotic Casadini family dynamics? If Spencer survived that fateful fall, it's plausible that Britt became his lifeline, sneaking away to Paris under the guise of personal getaways. But now, with Jason's unexpected sighting, the stakes have skyrocketed. Britt's rant about Jason blowing Paris for her could mean she's terrified of exposing Spencer's hideout. What if her trips involved more than check-ins, perhaps smuggling medical supplies, or even coordinating with underground networks to maintain his anonymity? Adding inventive details, envision Britt strolling through hidden Parisian alleys to reach a discreet clinic, where Spencer, bandaged but resilient, shares updates on his slow recovery. This secrecy might stem from protecting not just Spencer, but his loved ones back home. Like the devoted Trina Robinson, if Spencer's survival is linked to the same enigmatic project that saved Britt, revealing it could unleash dangers from vengeful foes, forcing everyone to play a high-stakes game of shadows. Of course, the elephant in the room is whether Spencer's return would involve hiding for his own safety, or something more strategic. Suppose he's not in a coma but fully recovered, choosing exile to shield Trina and his family from the Casadini curses that seem to follow them. Like a storm cloud, Paris, with its labyrinth of streets and anonymous crowds, would be the perfect sanctuary. Britt's reluctance to return might be her way of drawing a line in the sand, preventing any accidental slip that could lead enemies straight to him. Let's expand this with a creative twist. Perhaps Spencer has been living under an alias, blending into Parisian society as a budding artist or cafe worker. all while Britt provides emotional support during her visits. Their special connection could have evolved into a mentor-protege dynamic, with Britt helping him plot a safe comeback. But Jason's involvement complicates everything. His confusion in that airport chat hints at broader implications, maybe even pulling him into the web of this resurrection mystery. Shifting gears to the bigger picture, this Paris fixation screams of deeper conspiracies, possibly with Casadini fingerprints all over it. The family's history of fake deaths and elaborate schemes makes them prime suspects. What if Victor Casadini, ever the puppet master, engineered Spencer's rescue as part of a larger plot to reclaim power? Or, introducing a new inventive element, perhaps an international alliance of rogue scientists is behind it, using Paris as a hub for their shady resurrection project? Britt's edginess could stem from fearing that Jason's questions might unravel this delicate operation. Fans are already speculating wildly, and for good reason. General Hospital thrives on these twists. Even if Spencer's comeback requires a fresh face via recast, the excitement would be palpable. Viewers crave his fiery spirit, his complicated romances, and his role in the Casadini legacy. Wrapping this up, ABC General Hospital spoilers tease that with this resurrection project stealing the spotlight, the impossible could become reality. Spencer's survival in Paris, guarded by Britt's secretive visits, opens doors to endless drama. Will Jason dig deeper and uncover the truth? Could Trina sense something's amiss and embark on her own quest? Next, we will explore the mounting drama surrounding patient advocate Stella Henry, who might be on the brink of a devastating stroke, while an explosive insurance fraud probe threatens to shatter her world. As tensions escalate in Port Charles, spoilers for the week of August 18th to 22nd paint a grim picture of Stella, facing off against relentless officials, all thanks to the ripples from Drew Kane's meddlesome investigation. Imagine the scene: Stella, usually the epitome of composure and fierce advocacy, now sputtering in frustration as interrogators close in, demanding answers about her behind-the-scenes maneuvers. This isn't just a minor hiccup, it's a full-blown crisis that could unravel her reputation and health in one fell swoop. Adding a fresh layer to this turmoil, perhaps Stella's actions stem from a deeper, personal vendetta against bureaucratic red tape, born from years of witnessing patients suffer at the hands of heartless insurance giants. Her confrontation promises to be a powder keg, highlighting the ethical tightrope she walks daily in her role. Diving into the backstory, let's unpack why Stella finds herself in this precarious spot, with every detail amplified by the show's knack for high-stakes revelations. It all traces back to her compassionate intervention in Martin Gray's insurance woes, where she quietly pulled strings to ensure he received the critical care he deserved. Martin couldn't help but boast to Drew about Stella's heroic efforts, painting her as a guardian angel who bypassed the system's rigid barriers. But in the cutthroat arena of healthcare bureaucracy, even well-intentioned tweaks can morph into accusations of fraud. Inventing a new element here, suppose Stella doctored a few key documents not just for Martin, but as part of a pattern quietly aiding a handful of underserved patients over the months. Driven by her unyielding belief that no one should be denied treatment due to paperwork pitfalls, this makes her a true champion against the faceless conglomerates that prioritize profits over people. Yet it also sets her up for a brutal fall. In Martin's case, her rule-bending might have involved fabricating eligibility details or expediting approvals, all in the name of justice. But now those choices are circling back like vengeful ghosts. As the week unfolds, the August 18th episode thrusts Stella into the interrogation spotlight, where her defenses are tested like never before. Spoilers indicate she'll be grilled intensely, forcing her to relive every decision and defend her moral compass. This high-pressure scenario could easily overwhelm even the strongest wills, especially for someone like Stella, whose history of health scares looms large. Expanding on this, picture the room: dim lights, stern faces from insurance investigators, and Stella clutching her notes, her voice steady at first but cracking under the barrage of questions. Her sputtering responses aren't just anger, they're a shield against the fear of losing everything she's built. Then, on August 19th, Lucas Jones steps into the fray, leaping to assist someone in need, and given his shared sense of righteousness with Stella, it's a safe bet he's rallying to her side. Lucas, with his medical expertise and no-nonsense attitude, might provide crucial testimony or even legal insights, turning the tide momentarily, creatively adding depth. Perhaps Lucas uncovers overlooked evidence during his intervention, like a loophole in the insurance policy that justifies Stella's actions. but it comes at the cost of exposing his own vulnerabilities in the process. The emotional toll of this ordeal can't be understated, as the mounting anxiety from the fraud confrontation begins to chip away at Stella's well-being in profound ways. She's no stranger to health battles, having survived a previous stroke that left her and her loved one forever changed. Now, with stress levels skyrocketing, it's entirely plausible that this new wave of pressure triggers a medical emergency, pushing her toward another life-threatening episode. Let's elaborate with an inventive twist. During the interrogation, Stella experiences subtle warning signs: a sudden headache, blurred vision, or a tingling in her arm that she brushes off in her determination to fight back, only for them to escalate later. This isn't mere speculation. The show's history of blending personal crises with professional fallout makes it a perfect storm. By August 20th, Lucas delivers a somber update, likely bearing grim news about Stella's condition, which could range from hospitalization to a dire prognosis. This moment underscores the fragility of even the most resilient characters, reminding viewers how quickly the scales can tip from advocacy to vulnerability, compounding the heartache. Curtis Ashford might soon connect the dots back to Drew Kane, the instigator of this fraud investigation, and unleash a torrent of blame for potentially causing Stella's health crisis. Poor Stella, caught in the crossfire, could end up in dire straits, her future hanging by a thread as medical teams scramble to stabilize her. Envision Curtis storming into Drew's office, eyes blazing with fury, accusing him of prioritizing political ambitions over family ties. This revelation could reignite their long-standing feud with ferocious intensity, transforming old grudges into something far more perilous. Predicting the fallout, we foresee this clash escalating to deadly heights, where words give way to actions that test loyalties and morals. Spoiler hints even suggest Drew might become the center of a chilling whodunit mystery, raising eyebrows about whether Curtis, in a moment of desperation, resorts to lethal measures against the so-called Congressman Crooked, adding a new inventive element. Perhaps anonymous threats start surfacing, cryptic notes, or shadowy figures tailing Drew, fueling speculation that Curtis, or an ally acting on his behalf, is plotting a takedown to avenge Stella's suffering. In the grand tapestry of General Hospital, this storyline weaves together themes of justice, betrayal, and the high cost of doing what's right, leaving fans on the edge of their seats. Stella's potential downfall serves as a stark warning about the perils of bending rules in a system stacked against the little guy, while Drew's scheming adds fuel to the fire of Port Charles rivalries. As we watch this unfold, it's clear that no one emerges unscathed, and the ripple effects could alter alliances for seasons to come. What are your genuine thoughts on Drew Kane and his questionable conduct? Is he a calculated opportunist, or just a man caught in his own web? Do you think Stella's crisis will push Curtis over the edge, or will redemption arcs save the day? Next, we will delve into the exciting emergence of a fresh wave of spies in Port Charles, sparking waves of nostalgia among longtime viewers who see echoes of legendary supercouples from the show's golden eras. As the intrigue unfolds, it's hard not to notice how Jocelyn Jacks and Von Castillo's are capturing hearts in ways that feel like a loving nod to the past, blending high-stakes espionage with budding romance. For many fans, this duo's dynamic has been a slow burn, requiring patience after the heartbreaking loss of Dex Heller, whose memory lingers like a shadow over Jocelyn's journey. Dex's warmth and heroism set a high bar, leaving viewer St. Joss herself needing space to process the grief before embracing someone new. Vaughn entered the scene as an enigmatic figure, shrouded in mystery, and his initial toughness as Joss's handler often came across as abrasive, pushing her limits without the softness of a romantic partner. Yet, this professional edge made sense in the cutthroat world of covert operations, even if it amplified Joss's emotional struggles, inventing a fresh twist to heighten the tension. Perhaps Vaughn's stern demeanor masked his own buried traumas from past missions gone awry, like a botched assignment that cost him a close ally, making him wary of getting too attached. The real turning point that shifted perceptions arrived this week at the luxurious, yet perilous Five Poppies Resort, where danger lurked amid the opulent surroundings, forcing Jocelyn into a life-altering confrontation. In a pulse-pounding moment, she fired her weapon at an assailant intent on eliminating her partner, a split-second decision that saved lives but left deep psychological scars. No matter how trained one is in the spy game, taking a life weighs heavily on the soul, stirring up a storm of guilt, fear, and introspection. Vaughn, displaying an unexpected layer of empathy, picked up on her distress immediately, discovering her crumpled on the shower floor, still in her clothes, with steaming water cascading around her like a futile attempt to wash away the horror. Without hesitation, he joined her in that vulnerable space, wrapping his arms around her in a tender embrace that spoke volumes. His actions weren't just comforting, they were a profound acknowledgement of her pain, drawing from his own experiences in the field to offer silent solidarity, adding inventive details to enrich the scene. Imagine Vaughn whispering reassurances about how such moments forge unbreakable bonds, perhaps sharing a snippet of his history where he once faced a similar breakdown after a high-stakes takedown in a distant city, turning what could have been isolation into a foundation for trust. This intimate encounter at the resort feels like the spark igniting what could blossom into a captivating partnership, positioning Jocelyn and Vaughn as the modern torchbearers for crime-fighting romance. In General Hospital's evolving narrative, their chemistry hints at a relationship built on shared adrenaline and mutual understanding, much like the iconic pairs that defined the show's adventurous spirit decades ago. As they navigate the shadowy realms of espionage together, fans are buzzing about the potential for them to become this generation's dynamic duo, blending love with lethal pursuits. To expand creatively, suppose their budding connection leads to joint training sessions back in Port Charles, where Vaughn teaches Joss advanced evasion tactics, while she helps him open up emotionally, creating a balance that mirrors the push and pull of classic soap opera loves. Stepping back in time, one can't help but draw parallels to Felicia Scorpio and Frisco Jones, whose whirlwind story began in 1984 when Felicia arrived in Port Charles on a quest to reclaim a priceless Aztec heirloom ring, setting off a chain of events filled with danger and desire. From the moment their paths crossed, electric sparks ignited, propelling them into a series of thrilling escapades that spanned from the familiar streets of Port Charles to exotic locales like Mexico and the enigmatic Asian Quarter. Their adventures were a roller coaster of chases, narrow escapes, and clever disguises, all while deepening their romantic ties. Frisco's eventual recruitment into the World Security Bureau WSB added layers of international intrigue, complementing Felicia's transformation into a savvy private investigator who fearlessly dove into cases, introducing a new element for added depth. Envision Felicia and Frisco once collaborating on an undercover operation involving a stolen artifact smuggling ring, where Frisco's WSB resources meshed perfectly with Felicia's street-smart intuition, much like how Joss and Vaughn might tackle future threats with their combined spy skills. Fast forward to the present, and Jocelyn and Vaughn echo that same adventurous blueprint as a pair of dedicated WSB operatives, whose professional synergy is evolving into something profoundly personal. Their partnership thrives on trust forged in the fire of fieldwork, reminiscent of the 1980s flair that made Felicia and Frisco unforgettable. Even visually, there's a striking resemblance at sharp, determined gazes, the athletic build suited for action, and the effortless style that screams undercover chic. Is General Hospital intentionally channeling this nostalgia, perhaps as a tribute to its storied history while introducing new twists for today's audience? To invent an additional layer, maybe the writers are planting subtle Easter eggs, like Vaughn referencing an old WSB case file that ties back to Frisco's era, hinting at a generational handover in the spy legacy. Another timeless duo that springs to mind is Robert Scorpio and Anna Devane, whose legendary alliance as WSB agents blossomed into a passionate marriage and endured through trials, including their eventual divorce, without dimming their collaborative spark. Together, they tackled global threats with unmatched precision, their shared expertise making them a formidable force whether in harmony or at odds. This enduring connection, marked by clever banter and high-octane missions, set the standard for spy romances on the show, creatively enhancing this comparison. Picture Robert and Anna once infiltrating a lavish gala to thwart an assassination plot, their disguises and quick thinking saving the day, much as Joss and Vaughn could find themselves in a glamorous yet deadly scenario at a Port Charles event, blending espionage with emotional undercurrents. In wrapping up this nostalgic journey, it's clear that Jocelyn and Vaughn are breathing new life into General Hospital's spy tradition, potentially carving out their own epic chapter while honoring the greats like Felicia and Frisco, or Robert and Anna. Do these fresh faces stir up fond memories of the show's adventurous past for you? Or are you excited for the unique paths they'll forge? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Does Vaughn measure up to Dex? Or is this the start of something even more legendary?